So most people think they're trapped by their circumstances. They believe in order to change the world, they need a head start, a massive wealth from rich parents, or some kind of a powerful name. But they are completely wrong. One of history's greatest nobody didn't even have an army when he started. He was a kid from a tiny island with zero prospects. His real weapon? A psychological framework that turned a chaotic lifestyle into a masterclass in discipline. And I'm talking no other than Napoleon Bonaparte himself. And in this video, we're going to be Alexa, another word for deconstructing. And in this video, we're going to be breaking down 5 habits that Napoleon used to turn the impossible into a reality. And by the end of this video, once you know these 5 habits and apply them to your life, your success wouldn't just be a goal, it becomes an eventual reality. So starting off with habit 1, which would be the power of one goal. Basically concentrating your forces into one thing and one thing only. So imagine for a second you're trying to break down a wall. You start by tapping every brick as fast as possible, but nothing really happens. But think about this, if you take a sledgehammer and hit it in a concentrated place, the whole wall basically falls down, at least a portion of it. Most times in life, we are paralyzed because we're trying to do way too much at the same time. So the goal is, don't stop trying 10 things at a time. Pick one thing that is most important to you and focus on that one thing and one thing only. It could be anything. Just pick one goal and hit it with everything you got. And that alone is the only way you can actually make an effort to finish anything in life. Now for lesson 2. So Napoleon has this funny quotes from one of his letters, which says, "Adversity is the midwife to genius." Take me for example. I grew up in a third world country, and one thing that has taught me is that being comfortable is a trap. Living in the United States now I'm thinking back in my life as a kid and realizing all those times I've been broke when my family couldn't afford basic amenities was basically training me to be much more resilient in the face of adversity. It makes you hungrier than the people who got it easy. I think we're fond of looking at people with privilege as this beautiful thing and I wish we had it. Trust me, most of the rich people with kids are usually the most miserable people you can think of, and I know you can think of one from the top of your head. Don't hit the struggle. Use it to get tougher than your competition. Now let's move to habit number 3, which is actually my most favorite here. And this is very important. I call it the couple trick. And you're probably wondering, Anthony, what the hell is that? Think about it. No, most of us are overwhelmed with bills, personal life issues, work drama, relationship issues, not having a girlfriend or not having a boyfriend. These are different categories of issues that we combat day to day. I don't know, your car broke down. One of them. What I mean to say is, imagine so many things going through your life. Think about work stress, think about stress in your personal life, with your relationships, think about stress with your financial bills and everything going on in the politics. Think about those things as like drawers in your house that you have to juggle all the time. Think about most of the time, think about this metaphorically, sometimes we have those things all open at the same time. So if you can go from having a very, very good day into something really, really bad happening, and returning to baseline as fast as possible, you're good, you're solid. Most people let the small, tiniest inconvenience basically ruin their day. You don't want to be like that. That is something Napoleon is amazing at. In fact, this is something he explained in one of his letters, which says, and I quote, "Different subjects are arranged in my head like a cupboard. When I wish to interrupt the train of thought, I shut down that drawer and open another. And whenever I wish to sleep, I simply close all the drawers." Think about the amount of discipline that requires you. Most of us don't have that ability. Most of us carry our stress, all works of life, all throughout our day, and that really doesn't help us. And trust me, if anybody is an expert at handling stress and putting them into segments and not letting that affect his day, that would be Napoleon. Because think about this. His wife was cheating on him, not just his wife. Every woman, most women he has been in a relationship with, cheated on him. Half of his years he spent on going to war. Half of his men died. Some of them froze to death in Russia. This is something was going through day by day. And he didn't let him break him. I feel like some of us can handle a little bit of inconvenience in our life. So the takeaway is this: if you're worrying about your bank account while you're at the gym working out, or while you're at church or something that has nothing to do with that, you're missing the point. Worrying about it wouldn't actually help anyways, so close that drawer. Now for habit number 4, be a good reader. He was obsessed with history, so he read so much of it. Reading history made me feel I was capable of achieving as much as the men in our greatest annals. And here's the key: he had zero ego when it comes to learning something he has no idea of. So when he took his first command, he sat up with the old generals, pen in hand, ready to absorb as much as information as he can. He didn't care about looking like the nerdy guy in the room. He cared about winning. And that was what drove his learning. So now the takeaway from this, be a learner, be a reader. Especially in the world of AI, I believe most of the content you should be consuming, at least 80% of it, should be educational content. Because information is the fastest moving thing today. And you have to be soaking up as much data, as much information, as much learning as humanly possible. Thankfully, AI makes it for you. Now for the fifth and final habit is speed. If you have to forget everything in this video that I said, I only have to remember one thing about Napoleon, something you can take home. It is speed is currency. I would actually argue his speed was actually made him great more than any other person in life, because he moved at an unprecedented speed, sometimes to his own detriment, but 9 times out of 10, it worked in his favor. So in 1809, Napoleon sent a letter to one of his generals. Now, let me tell you this letter only contained 3 words, and it should be pinned in your door today. And it simply read, activity, activity, speed. He was the master of getting things done in a very, very short amount of time. And I'll actually argue that was the only reason why he won Europe, because he moved in a crazy amount of speed that before other countries like Austria, England can sit down and delegate, he's already in their doorstep. And that was what gave him an advantage over everybody else. Sometimes in life we want to do something, we overthink it, we overanalyze it. And most of the time we need to have a ready, fire, aim mentality. Is you don't always have to be ready for everything. Because if we're being honest, sometimes when things sit over our head and we overthink and we overplan, we think we're doing something, but we're not actually doing anything. And I'm very guilty into that. I can plan YouTube videos, ideas that I want to do. I can plan the lighting and the things I want to do. But then when it actually comes to filming, I chicken out. I procrastinate. And before you know it, it's 2 months. That's why my videos take long. Obviously, we're trying to change these things. But speed is one of the most important things we can get in this world, especially in today's AI era. And back in Napoleon days, the French Directory, which is has a word for saying the French government, was in shambles in 1799. He didn't wait to think, he didn't wait to take advices from his friend or from his brother Joseph. He basically said in one of his letters, the peer was ripe. When that was how he was able to take over France and seize power in a coup. I'm not saying do that literally, this is a metaphoric example I'm trying to give you. Hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So, having one go, speed, mental drawer, and a constant reader. Just like Napoleon, this should be a protocol for 2026. And since we're focused on building discipline here, I want to know, which drawer in your mind is the hardest to close now? I know for me personally, it is the state of the economy with mass amount of layoffs. I don't know how that's going to affect me and the people around me. That is the one drawer I'm struggling to close in my mind. And I want to know yours, so drop a comment below. So if you want more breakdowns in psychology and discipline from history's greatest icons like Napoleon, don't forget to like this video and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I'm going to see you guys on the next one. Bye.